This is my personal creed project. Start with a little bit of my history. I was born July of 1978. I have an older sister. My dad and mom lived in Newark Valley at the time. When I was 2, uh, tragedy struck the family. My parents were in a motorcycle accident, and my mother died. It was a hard time, but it drew a lot of the family close together. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents as my dad was recovering. My dad was obviously lonely at the time, and he became involved with a woman. They got married, and from them together, I have 3 brothers. I grew up at that point in a very rural setting. We didn't have much. We raised rabbits for food, and we had a garden that we would grow our own vegetables. And we had each other, and we were close as siblings and spent our days together. And this is where, a big part of what I think grew into my belief in the importance of family and the underpinning of community that is there from strong family ties. Every summer, I would go and spend time at my grandparents in Newark Valley, and some of my earliest memories are seeing my grandfather dedicating himself to his work, his family, and his community. He strove to be honest and disciplined in his life. And because of this is an area where, I pursue in honor of him. And I believe that integrity that I saw in him and in some other people in my life uh, really developed something in me. And I believe that integrity is of the utmost and lacking often in the world. When I was 15, my dad and stepmom they broke up and divorced. And in that time, my stepmom, she kicked me out of the house, and I was on my own for uh, a bit of time until I made my way to my grandma's, and I lived with her for a while. And she really is a woman of faith and goes to church regularly, and she encouraged me to do the same. I did that some, and I went. She paid for me to go to a private school, and I did that, and I believe I gained a lot from that time, um, and it was good for me. When I graduated high school in 1995, I then traveled internationally and studied internationally, studying counseling. But as time went on, I found out that the school that I was attending was not an accredited school, and it drove me away from education because I thought it was a waste of time that I had wasted time. But a thing that I realized later in life was my time overseas uh, helped me to see life from a different perspective. Even with my upbringing with limited means and resources, I recognize that we in the United States um, have so much more and take things so much for granted, and we are easily swayed often by news and celebrities. And I saw through that veil while I was traveling internationally, and it developed in me that perspective to not just take things like that at face value. When I returned, I began working. I worked several different jobs, and in that time, I started attending a church where I met my wife to be, and we were married and now have two children. And so work to raise a family together. And I truly pursue with my kids and my wife to be a family that is open and honest, and that my children can come to me and I will be honest with them. And I pursue with them uh, community life, and we are active uh, in our church and in the community around us, because I believe that community is important and that lives are changed and bettered in families and in community. I started to attend college again when I would continue to uh, run into the employment ceiling in the different jobs that I worked. And I had a supervisor that encouraged me to go back to school, which I'm currently doing. And um, it has been a journey, to say the least. I am now at 6 years to get my associate's degree, part-time school. But I believe it's coming to an end. This fall, I should graduate, and I believe that we need to continue throughout our lives pursuing to make ourselves the best that we can be, and always changing for the better. And I believe that we have unlimited potential, and that we are the ones that limit ourselves. My personal creed, I would say, is that community must be supported and developed, that family is the foundation for community, that we all have something of value that we can use to the benefit of those around us, and there is always room for us to grow and become better. And integrity is something that no one can take away from you. You can only give it away. Thank you.